Hello and welcome to another Clevertale from Clevertouch. This one's called Lawrence the Lion. Lawrence the Lion lived on the plains of Africa with his mother, his father, and all his other relatives in a group called a pride. As you probably know, male lions are easy to spot due to their beautiful manes of hair. All the young lions Lawrence's age had already grown their manes, except for Lawrence. He was maneless. He wished and wished his mane would grow, but it never did. Some of the other lions sniggered at him behind his back. They would pull funny faces and sing rude songs about him. They would even call him Baldy Bonts. Yet Lawrence wasn't bald. He just had fuzzy fur on his head instead of a mane. Other animals also dared to make fun of him. The elephants trumpeted with laughter on their daily march to the watering hole. The hyenas giggled and the monkeys chattered from the safety of the trees. Even the zebras, who were normally scared of lions, would snort and stamp their hooves with glee whenever he passed by. The disrespect Lawrence was shown angered Leopold, the king of the jungle.
"You're a disgrace!" he roared. "How can you be part of our pride without a mane?"
Even his father was ashamed of him and couldn't look Lawrence in the eye. His mother tried to be kinder, although all she could say was, "One day your mane will grow, you'll see." But it did not grow, and almost everyone in the jungle continued to mock him. Poor Lawrence. Luckily, there were a few animals who did not laugh. The birds did not laugh. The little animals, like the mice and the bush baby, did not laugh. They liked Lawrence because he was kind and gentle. He never went out of his way to scare them like the other lions, so they did not care that he had no mane. In fact, they felt sorry for Lawrence and wanted to help. So, one scorching day, a small group approached him while he was moping in the shade of a baobab tree. A parrot called Perchy began to explain.
"Lawrence," Perchy squawked, "we don't like the way the other animals treat you."
"Indeed not," nodded an elderly spider monkey named Winston. "So we've decided to give you a very special mane, so nobody will call you names."
"We're going to make you a wig,"
squeaked all the mice excitedly.
"A wig,"
spluttered Lawrence. "But nobody will give me any hair." "It will be made of jungle things," Winston assured him. "Will you let us?" "Oh, yes, please," purred Lawrence. He really wanted a mane to show the other animals. And so his little friends set to work. The mice and snakes gathered fern, grass, and moss. The birds flew high into the rainforest canopy and brought back the most colourful leaves. The bush babies brought back dozens of berries. Meanwhile, Winston swung from tree to tree, collecting exotic flowers. Perchy supervised the wig itself, arranging it all neatly on top of Lawrence's head. The wig definitely didn't look real, but it was beautiful, and Lawrence couldn't wait to show the other lions in his pride. Thanking his friends, he strutted off to make his grand entrance on the savannah. As the eager young lion reached the top of a hill, he could see his pride basking in the sunshine. The herds of other great beasts grazed lazily on the plains below. Lawrence knew that this was truly his moment. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be a good moment. His wig suddenly slipped down over his eyes. Unable to see, Lawrence tripped over a passing pangolin and lost his footing. Immediately he began to roll, tumble, and bounce down the hill. His pride, the herds, everyone watched in wonderment as he hurtled downwards. Bits of his makeshift wig flew from his head as if abandoning ship. Leaves and twigs and exploding berries cascaded in a rainbow of forest litter. Finally, Lawrence landed splat into the mud pool at the bottom of the hill. For a precious ooze-filled moment, as Lawrence sank beneath the sludge, there was silence. But then, as he rose from the mud, the world erupted into laughter. The lions roared with tears streaming down their golden cheeks. The buffaloes guffawed and butted heads as if trying to banish the image of Lawrence's accident from their minds. The antelope locked horns and spun each other round as they giggled uncontrollably at the poor lion's mishap. Even the rhinos, the undisputed grumpiest of animals, made grunts that sounded suspiciously like chuckles. From then on, Lawrence's life became a misery, as everyone felt free to poke fun of him at every opportunity. Seeing as he liked Wig so much, as the cheeky young cubs responsible later explained to a furious King Leopold, he awoke one morning to find 3 fluffy meerkats glued to his head with tree sap. Lawrence had had enough. So that night, after quietly giving his sleeping mother an affectionate lick on the cheek, Lawrence snuck off into the savannah's sea of dark grass to be alone. The next day, nobody missed Lawrence, as all the lionesses, including Lawrence's mother, set out on a hunting trip. The male lions all eagerly waved goodbye, not only because they looked forward to the coming feast, but because, without anyone sensible around to tell them no, they could enjoy some boisterous fun. Male lions are full of bravado, which means they constantly try to outdo each other by showing off. For King Leopold's latest challenge, the macho fools set off on a race up the nearest mountain. What they did not expect, as they jostled and snarled their way up the mountain, was that the king's son, Lyle, would follow them. Soon falling behind, the little prince decided to investigate a large prickly bush growing on the mountainside. What he did not expect was the steep drop waiting for him on the other side. Mewling in terror, Lyle clung to the cliff top with his tiny claws. Above him, the male lions heard his cries and raced to the rescue. King Leopold himself led the way. Without hesitation, they all plunged into the bush, desperate to force their way through. Tragically, something terrible happened. Each lion's glorious mane became tangled in the spiky thorns of the twisted bush. The more they struggled, the more their long hair became twisted around the jagged branches. Within moments, they were stuck. King Leopold roared in terrified outrage. Meanwhile, Lawrence, who had been sulking in a nearby cave, heard the commotion and emerged to see what all the fuss was about. Just above the furious roars of the other lions, Lawrence could hear Lyle's frantic cries for help. With not a moment to lose, Lawrence raced into the bush, just as the other lions had done. But, with no long mane to tangle him up, he was able to slink easily between the thorny branches. Moments later, he had Lyle safely clenched between his teeth. As he edged backwards through the bush, the other lions looked on in awe. Lyle was saved, and Lawrence was a hero. When the lionesses returned, they helped Lawrence release the foolish males. Unfortunately, this meant cutting them free of their tangled manes. The proud males didn't like it one little bit, especially as it left each of them with real bald patches. However, the whole pride thanked Lawrence and apologized for being so mean to him. They were very ashamed of themselves, so Lawrence forgave them. He also made them promise to be nicer to his little jungle friends. King Leopold announced,
You are the bravest and kindest of all lions. It matters not that you have no mane. You have a good heart instead."
Lawrence's parents were both beaming with pride. As for Lawrence, he suddenly didn't feel very different anymore, and privately thought it very funny that the other lions didn't have manes. Yet in time all their manes did grow back. However, Lawrence wasn't the least bit bothered, because his finally grew too. And it was the most magnificent, luxurious, and radiant mane of the whole pride. Don't you agree? Well, thank you for listening. That was another tale from Clevertouch. Hope to see you soon with another one. Good night.